How do you love yourself more? How do you love yourself more? To get a good practical answer for that question, you have to first define the terms within the question. So, how do you love? So, love needs to be examined. Yourself, who is you, that needs to be examined. How do you love yourself? So, let's examine love and let's examine the self. Yourself, which self are you referring to exactly? So, let's start off with love. Basically, you have two forms of love. You have conditional love and unconditional love. Conditional love is exactly what it sounds like. I love you if. I love you if. I love you if you are the same religion as me. I love you if you grow up and become whatever profession, a doctor or engineer. If say let's say your parents have that condition as something that they think you have to do, and so they'll place a condition on their love to you in terms of that. You know, you become a doctor or engineer and we'll keep our love, we'll keep our support, we'll keep showering you with compliments, etc., etc. So that's the condition. I love you if you look good. You know, that's very common in relationships of romantic and sexual dynamics, right? I love you if you have the perfect figure. If you start to lose your figure, I'm going to withdraw my love. So that's pretty much almost, I mean, unconditional love in this vibration, in this realm. It's a very rare thing. It's extremely rare. Okay, it is a very, very rare thing. Most of us have never ever encountered unconditional love. Okay? And just because somebody conditionally loves you doesn't mean they don't love you, love you. Your parents love you, but they have so many conditions that it blocks their unconditional love. And what I'm finding out, it's a continuous process. What I'm finding out is, because I do a lot of things that my parents don't agree with, that their conditions are on their love to me are immediately challenged by all the things that I do that do not agree with their model of reality. But what I found out with parents specifically, and this doesn't apply to all parents, certainly my parents and a great deal of parents, is after a while of their conditional love being challenged, the conditions in which they hold against love, they seem to eventually come back around. So actually, in a way, by doing your thing despite your parents' disapproval, it's a funny thing. What happens is you challenge their attachments and their conditions on their love, which slowly but surely begins to remove these conditions and get to the bottom of their unconditional love to you, especially a mother's love. Because perhaps in this realm, the closest thing we can get to that agape, that divine love, that unconditional love, is perhaps a mom's love. And I see it with my mom over and over. You know, I do all kinds of things my mom don't agree with. And she gets mad in the beginning and we don't talk, and then we come back like become best buddies again. So that's an interesting example with the parents. I don't want to drag it too much, but nevertheless, that unconditional love is very, 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 very rare thing that most of you probably have never encountered it. The only way I encountered it is through the use of psychedelics. That's how I encountered unconditional love, agape. Otherwise, I never would have encountered it in the form of a human being. No way. Now you might say, well, okay, my dog, right? I mean, your dog loves you unconditionally. That's true. That's true. But also, a dog's love is conditional. I mean, I'm talking about it's a very rare thing to encounter a being that radiates unconditional love, because a dog's love is conditional. I lived in Copenhagen. I lived because I never had dogs, but for a month I lived in a little hut where we had dogs on the. It's not a resort. It's sort of like a whatever mini resort. We had a couple of dogs, PP and Gaga, and oh yeah, like once they take you in and they unconditionally love you. They wag their tail when you come and they get all excited and it's nice. But as soon as somebody stranger comes, they begin like barking and like get out of here and they get all territorial. So to actually encounter a being, that's what's called a self-enlightened being, a realized being, fully realized being, is like that's a being that radiates complete unconditional love. Okay? So understand that conditional love and unconditional love, unconditional love is a very rare thing in this realm. Conditional love is what most of us have encountered in our lives, either via our relationships with our parents, with our friends, with our I guess partners, right? Romantic nature. And even if you manage to find somebody who loves you unconditionally, which I'm sure you have somebody, maybe a friend or something, maybe not. Again, it's a very rare thing. Still, that being that maybe shows you a love that may be close to unconditional. Maybe it's maybe not 100. Problem it's not 100%. It's not 100%. But let's say it's 90%. Still, that being probably has conditions on loving other things. Okay, so what you want to do as a being on this whatever in this game is you want to love yourself unconditionally. So that now let's go to the second part of it. Yourself. Now, who is the self? That I could sit down here and talk about this for an hour. Okay, so what self are you referring to here? Are you referring to the I thought, the storyline, or are you referring to the awareness behind the plot line and the story? Are you referring to the physical body here? Your physical identity. I'm 5'10" and I have say you're a woman and I got this perfect figure, right? This nice bosoms, right? These nice titties, right? And that's my body. So then you say I love that, but then suddenly if you gain weight or you go on some binge or you get pregnant, your body's all out of whack, do you still love yourself as the self you thought you are, which is the physical body? Is that the self you're referring to when you say I love myself unconditionally? Are you referring to your psychological identity? I am an elite athlete, right? I'm an elite athlete. So as long as I'm an elite athlete, I love myself. Then you get injured and then your performance goes down and your confidence goes down and boom, you're shot down. Essentially, you're shot down because now, that self, which you thought is the elite athlete, is no longer an elite athlete. So that's challenged. So then, as you can see, it's very important to establish a baseline for what is the self that you're referring to. And that self turns out to be the awareness. That self turns out to be the experiencer of the phenomena that is creation, which includes this realm, the astral planes, and all the other planes within the physical and the astral and the causal planes. It's the awareness that sits beneath it, experiences this, watches this movie run its course. Okay? So, how do you love yourself unconditionally? Well, that's a little problematic because your eyes can see outwards, but they can't see themselves. They're just eyes. They can't see themselves. They just see. They see the phenomena of creation. They see outwards, right? An eye can't see itself. Okay, it can't see itself. It's looking out. It can't see itself, right? In the same way, if you are awareness, if you are love, you're love. But how can you love yourself if you're love? You understand? It's like the eyes can't see themselves. It's the same thing. Like, I am love, but why would I love myself? I am just love. Eyes are just eyes. They're instruments for sight. And love is just love. So it isn't exactly how do I love myself, it's how do I accept myself? How do I accept reality as it is? How do I accept things as they are? And that's what it comes down to, folks. It comes down to not loving yourself. Because loving yourself, you're trying to negate something here. Because maybe you hate yourself, so you're essentially still working within the duality, within the polarity, right? You're still saying, well, I hate myself, so I'm going to bring the positive and love myself. It's rather accepting things as they are, accepting and appreciating everything as it is. Because the self is everything that you perceive of. So the trees is the self. Because that's you in another form, because the awareness is in the tree. And all human beings that you come across, that's the awareness is inside that human being. So no matter how evil or good they are, that's yourself. So it isn't about, it isn't about loving yourself. It isn't about loving others. It isn't about, you could argue that love is synonymous with acceptance, but love is only, true unconditional love is only possible if acceptance exists. Okay? Otherwise, the love is conditional. So notice here that if you try to love yourself, you might put some conditions on it. Somebody might think your nose is big, for example, and you say, well, I love my nose, right? I love it. You try to convince yourself with your mind, like, I love it. You start to convince yourself that it's somehow superior, a superior nose, okay? As opposed to, because now you're going into your head, you're trying to make believe, you're creating a storyline, as opposed to accepting. So I accept this nose. It's just it's a phenomena in nature. It's a nose. It's not big, it's not small, it's not this, it's just a nose. It's just a nose. Okay? And you start to accept things as they are. Then you can love it. So unconditionally, because you don't care, because somebody might think it's small. Maybe you go to a different culture and it turns out your nose is small there. You see? But by accepting it, you go beyond the duality, big and small, right? Good and evil, good and bad. This is a good nose, this is a bad nose. It's a big nose, a small nose. You go beyond the duality. You see? By accepting, it's just, you say it's a phenomenon in nature. It's manifesting itself in creation. I am the creator of creation, and I have my awareness in all of creation. So I accept all of creation as it manifests. I accept all manifestations of myself. You see? So you go beyond the duality. You go beyond the polarity. Big, small. Because like I said, you could go to a different culture and that nose is perceived as small there. So now you're going to have to go there and create a different conditional love. And say, well, whatever. My nose is perfect. Size, it's, I don't know. You create some storyline about it. And you're basically going from one condition to the next. So you could look at your mirror and say, well, my body is beautiful, it's nice, it's this, it's that. Create all kinds of conditions. Say, I love my body because it's this. The minute you say because, you lost the plot. You understand? So without because, we have I love, which comes as a result of acceptance. But I love because, that's conditional. So when you try to love yourself, a lot of times you're going to come at it from the place of conditional love, because that's all you've been taught all your life. So then the first thing you would do is you would accept life, creation, all manifestations of it as it is. As it is. Okay? Behind me here are banana trees. Really beautiful. Really, really beautiful trees. But then over there, changes. The trees are different. They get different and different and different. Here we've got different colored trees. You see that? Different colors, Fall, I guess they're falling now. That's it. And then you got green trees. Now, is one tree superior to another? Is one more beautiful? I don't see that. I just see them as all manifestations, different manifestations, all beautiful. All beautiful. They just look different. A banana tree looks different than that tree over there with the white roses. They look different. That one is taller. That one is shorter. Is the taller better because it's taller, right? Or that one has roses. You know, it's got flowers. This one got bananas, right? So which one is better? Is the roses better because it's got these nice looking white roses? Is it better? No, no. They're just all different manifestations of God, really. And there's awareness in all of them, and they are manifestations of God because everything you look at is you. Because you said, "Let there be light," and there was light, and creation was, and is, and became is. It goes on, because you are pure awareness that wanted to be aware of yourself. So whenever you're looking at something, you're looking at yourself. So that's all you, because pure awareness can't be aware of anything. So then we create this game where I could be aware of myself. So I look at that tree, that's me. That's a manifestation of me, that's me. I look at the banana tree, and that's also me. You see? So then you look at a nose that is quote unquote big, that's also me. You look at a nose that's small, that's also me. That's all forms of me. Okay? It's all me. It's all of it is me. So therefore, acceptance of all phenomena as it is. Appreciation that, okay, this is yellow, this is red. And you understand that they're different and they're unique. But you don't judge. You don't say this is better, this is worse. You just say this is short and this is tall. That's an observation. That's an observation. You're just observing. That one is taller, that one is shorter. That one has white leaves, so you're describing what is. It's a descriptive language. There's two types of language you could use. Descriptive language and analytical language. You're describing, this is tall, this is short. This is a taller tree, this is a shorter tree. That's a description. But if you start to go into analytical, you say, this tree is better because it's taller. So it's better than the shorter tree. Okay, now you go into analytical, you go into the mind. Heart, it just accepts everything, sees the difference, but sees the unity. Whereas the mind discriminates, places judgments. This is better, this is worse, this is good, this is bad, this is evil, and this is virtuous. Okay? That's why I always talk about the harmony and the disharmony, because harmony and disharmony, you know, we can say, for example, you eat certain foods, they're harmonious with your body. Certain foods, they're disharmonious. See, that's an observation. That's an observation. You're observing nature and its laws. Say, this one is more harmonious with the human body. This one is is less harmonious with the human body. But you're not saying this is good food and this is bad food. This is virtuous food and this is evil food. Now we're going into analytical language. And now we're stepping out of this zone, out of the field of unconditional love, so that's total acceptance of what is, and we're going into conditional love, because now you have conditional love, right? Conditional love, it's conditional. It's not accepting of everything as is. And if you're going to try to love yourself with that, you're basically digging a hole for yourself that ends in nothing but unsatisfactoriness and suffering. You understand? So if you want to love yourself, go to the root of the issue here and appreciate everything as is. Once you get more and more into this, and it takes time, it's a process, you will begin to appreciate the way the phenomena of creation is manifesting through you. And so you begin to accept your physical appearance, because just like you accept the physical appearance of trees, of everything really that you could see, rivers, mountains, all kinds of mountains, all kinds of trees, all kinds of animals, then you begin to accept yourself also, and you begin to accept other human beings as they are. So you go into the physical appearance, and you go beyond that too, into the psychological makeup, right? The psychological makeup. You even accept it as it is. You know, I mean, somebody is a judgmental person. That's just nature manifesting itself in the form of a judgmental human being. So you observe that that human being is judgmental. You know there's certain people that are just judging. So it's not that you're blind to it, you're somehow blinding yourself to it. No, you observe it, you describe it, descriptive language. Oh, this human being is judgmental. But are you saying it as an observation, or are you saying it's judgmental? Because you might have like a demeanor on you that clearly shows you're judging the judgmental person. So you're in effect, uh, you're in effect committing the same hideous crime as the one that you are referring to, which is judgmental. Okay, but you could say, even with a little smile on you, yeah, that human being is judgmental, or with total just stillness. I mean, you're just totally observing the situation. That human being is judgmental. You might have talked to them, you've been around them, maybe even lived with them or something. That human being is judgmental. You just make a, I mean, it's totally descriptive. And you might go into their house or something and be kind to them and just be totally, totally kind. But you know descriptively, you've been around this person, you've been with them, you've seen them judge others, you've seen the way they behave with others. So you describe it, yeah, descriptive. Yeah, this human being is judgmental. But you're not judging. You're not saying, oh, this is a bad human being, because that human being, that's just nature manifesting herself, itself, himself. Just God manifesting itself in that particular form. Right now, that human being is the way they are, psychologically, physically, where they are in their consciousness. Just a human being manifested that way. Okay, so there's a difference between descriptive language and between analytical language. And you should know the difference. One is wise, that's wisdom. Wisdom is the ability to discriminate and tell the difference and the uniqueness of all things and how they manifest. I could see that tree is green. I could see that tree is over there. That tree is orange. The leaves are orange. I could see that. I'm not colorblind. I could see that. So it would be wise of me to be able to see that there is a uniqueness to everything. There's a difference. Another thing is to analyze it. Use analytical language to say, well, I like that tree more because it's greener. It's got flowers. Yeah, then now I'm kind of digging myself into a hole, because how you do one thing is how you do everything. If I'm going to see this and analyze it and place a moral judgment on it, better or worse, then I'm probably going to do that with this, because this is just part of it's an experience. You're experiencing a character, a manifestation of nature, a psychological, physical being. Okay, so I will, believe me, if I think that tree is better than that tree, then I think I am better than somebody else and I am worse than somebody else. Because how you do one thing is how you do everything. If you think about certain things in that way, you're going to think about other aspects of creation, of experiencing, of being an experiencer of phenomena, of natural phenomena. You're going to see it the same way also. You're going to fall into that trap also. And then you're going to love yourself conditionally, not unconditionally. But by accepting things as they are, by accepting yourself in all manifestations as they are, then this particular unique self, which you happen to be primarily experiencing reality through at the moment, primarily, right? It's this physios or psychological physical entity you're with 24/7, right? You're sleeping, you're with this being. So then, yeah, you really want to love this being. You really want to accept this being exactly as that being is manifesting. So you come to terms with even your judgments. Okay, if you're judgmental, just accept it. Say, well, I guess that's the way it is for me right now. I happen to be a judgmental human being. You accept that. You accept your preferences. I like this, I like that. Sure, these preferences are causing you some suffering at some level, some unsatisfactoriness, some dukkha. Okay, but you accept it. You say, well, I guess that's how I'm manifesting right now. That's how I am manifesting in the form of this being. From that place, because if you accept yourself as a judgmental person, let's say you think I'm judgmental, like I think I'm judgmental, right? So let's say you think that. Then, by accepting that, guess what? That's the first step to getting out of the cycle of being in an analytical, judgmental state. First step. I accept that I'm judgmental. First step right there. Okay, now how you do one thing is I do everything. Because you're going to begin to accept other aspects of this being and other beings too. You see? That's how you truly love yourself, because then you remove all the conditions. If you want to love yourself, slowly but surely, peel off the layers of the onion. Those layers are all the conditions that your mind has on the love of the heart, the total unitary accepting love of the heart, of everything. Because the heart, that's, you love creation. That's you create the creation. So you love it all. Why would you have created something that you don't love? You love it all. You love the rain, you love the cloud, you love the winters, you love the contrast. You love the even you love suffering even. You love evil even. Because that's your way of playing this game. So you actually, you actually do love it all. You accept it all. At least you accept it all. Okay? You accept it all. You may not necessarily love evil, but you accept it because you've deliberately put that element in the universe to play this game where you could find yourself, which is the light. So you at least accept the evil. You at least accept the suffering. Maybe you don't like, oh, I like emotional, I love you type of thing. You accept it with wisdom because you understand the role that it plays in the universe. So acceptance, then it will naturally accept your physical appearance, your psychological makeup, and then we have now begun the process of purification. We have now begun the process of becoming ourselves again. Okay? Remove one condition after another. And start wherever you want to start. You could start with your physical body. You could say, well, I'm just going to accept this physical body as it manifests. Just as a phenomena of nature. Or you could start with somebody else altogether. You could start with animals. Because it doesn't matter where you start. It all leads to the same place because it all is going to reflect on your thought. Your thinking is like habitual patterns. So you start to develop the habit of appreciating things as they manifest, accepting things as they manifest. It's just a habit and it carries over to everything else. Okay? So hopefully this video was helpful. No, I know it was helpful. Yeah, thank you to all the Patreons for your support. We've got 28 Patreons. You guys are awesome. Yeah, I would like to extend my gratitude for all the people that have supported in one way or another, via Patreon, via PayPal, through the generous one-time donations that I have been receiving. And I am in a very good place in my life. Thank you. Thank you is a good mantra to say. And until next time, may the force be with you.